So this is the instance we have created yesterday, right? I have started that. Let's connect to the instance and let's get into the hands-on. All right. So,
After, sorry,
hmm,
ma'am. After refresh that instance, we have to do this activity again, right? For this,
which one? You have to connect, right?
yeah.
Instance
Okay.
is running. You have to connect.
Just connect. Okay.
Hmm. Okay, so this is the easy to user. Like yesterday, we were working on simple basic commands. Today, let's begin with users. Let's try to understand users and groups. Users are nothing but human users. Like there might be multiple people working on the same server, on the same virtual machine, right? So you can create a user for each human user have to log in, right? So default user is easier to user on these Linux machines, particularly, sorry, on these Amazon machines. Right, Amazon Linux machines, easy to user is the default. That too, Amazon Linux 2 machine. This is Amazon Linux 2, which is Red Hat based. So easy to user is the default user. And if you want to set the password for this user, it doesn't have password. This is the command password easy to user. See, only root user can do that. Okay, let me tell you before going to this. See, there is a root user on the Linux machines, a default user who is called the super user. Root user or the default user, right? Or you may call the super user, right? Like an admin on Windows machine. Other users like EC2 user or any other user we are going to create or regular users. Okay, and every user will have his own home directory. It will be under home. The folder name would be his name, right? So that's one thing. Now I'm going to set some password to this EC2 user. So we use the command password easy to use. And it says only root user can do that. Like I said, root user is the super user with all the permissions, all the privileges. So use sudo before that and give the password. Right. So you can see we have set some password to easy to user and all the users, all this information of users and groups can be seen in the default file called etc is the default system folder or directory and password file. Here you can see all the information, easy to user. Whenever a user is created, there'll be user ID and group ID and like the description for the user and the home directory of the easy to user and the shell program that's being used by the user. We'll talk about shell program later. So yeah, that's a easy to user. Similarly, uh, suppose you want to see whenever you create a user, he will have his own directory and he will be added to a group called, means by default a group with the same name will be created and he will be added into this group automatically. To see all the group information, you can use cat etc group. Here you can see easy to use a group. Do you see that? So these are all the default users, system users we can say. So easy to user all the information. Also, if you want to see what are all the groups a user is attached, you can run the command groups. Right? Easy to user is into the easy to user group as well as into some other system groups also. right? A user can be added into multiple groups. What is the importance of a group? Let's suppose there is a team of people who need same permissions. You can put them into the same group and give permissions to the group. We'll see assigning permissions, so that makes more sense. But yeah, you have groups and users this way. Now let's suppose I want to create a user. How to create the user? Add user Tom. This will create the user. See, permission denied as always. You need to be a root user. Sudo will give permissions as a root user. So that will create a user Tom. If you want to check that, let's see password. Let's see password. Right. See, you can see Tom user assigned with the next group ID and user ID, and the home directory of Tom is home Tom. Right. Also, if you want to see the groups, I mean, of EC2 user, simply group. But if you want to see the groups of some other user, like Tom, groups, Tom. See, he is into the Tom group. He was not added into other groups, right? That's how it was showing, right? Um, so yeah, that's one thing. And then let's suppose now Tom is into the Tom group. That's called his primary group, right? By the default group into which he was added. Let's suppose we want to create a separate group. You can also do that with the command group add. Let's say I'm going to create a group called DevOps, right? A new group is created. You can check that information in the HC password file, sorry, HC group file, right? DevOps group is created. Fine. See, Tom group is created by default when Tom user is created. Okay, DevOps group is created. Now, groups Tom, I would like to see the groups of Tom. He was into Tom group. Let's say I would like to assign this DevOps group as a Tom's primary group, right? The main group. You can do that with the user mod -g, means modify the group, assign this DevOps as a primary group for Tom. This is the group name. This is the username you want to modify. I want to modify the group of Tom user. I want to add him to DevOps group. Now, if you see groups Tom, see he was added into DevOps group, right? Got it, everyone? And yeah, he was added into DevOps group. There is no Tom group. If you want to delete this Tom group, you can even do that with the group delete command. Now, right? Now the groups of Tom. Oh, this is a group delete Tom. Removes group Tom. Here it was showing the user, I believe. Let me check in the groups file. Group.
If
Yeah,
user
Tom group is deleted. Do you see that? Yeah.
if the
These
u-
are simple things how you can create groups. Yes, tell me please.
if the user has added to DevOps group, it should he should display in both the groups, right? DevOps and Tom.
Yeah. No.
But
What I did, I have modified his primary group. I did not add him to two groups. I have removed from this command, which I used some time back. This one, right? You're talking about.
yes.
-g will remove Tom from his primary group and add him into DevOps group. DevOps group will be his primary group or main group with this command. And then deleted the Tom group. Suppose you don't want to remove and add it to another group, you just want to append, you should use this one, AG, append him to some other group. Let's say he's already into DevOps group, right? Now let's say I want to add him to some admin group, the default group. Now you check the groups. Yes, he was not removed from Tom's, but he was also added to another group called admin group. Got it? Got the difference between -AG and simple G. G will just remove him from his existing group and then add him to the new group. Whereas -G will append him to the new group. Clear, everyone?
Yeah. So, madam, so these commands are available in the documentation.
Yes,
All
they're
these.
all available in the Google Drive, which you got access. You can also refer that for all these commands.
Can you show me which document, please, so that
At the end of the class, please remind me. I have shared you the Google Drive. Have you got access to the
Yeah,
Google Drive?
yeah. Yes,
There
yes,
you
I do.
should go to the Linux folder. There you will see them. At the end of the class, remind me. I can help you walk you through the documents.
Thank you. Another question is how you are connecting this terminal. This is a putty or what is how you are this one?
This is Mobex term. How to connect to this Mobex term I have shown you yesterday. Were you
Yes.
there in the class yesterday?
Yeah. Exactly. I was there. Yes.
Yesterday we discussed, right? From Putty or Mobex term, both are same way you connect. It's the same
Okay.
process how you connect.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. So, yeah, we have appended it. Let's suppose I want to remove this term from this admin group, which is a secondary group. You can also delete him from some group using G password minus the Tom from admin group. See, removing user Tom from group admin. Now, if you see groups, he was only into DevOps group, right? Got it, all of you? When I say I'm working as EC2 user, with whatever user you are running, if you run groups, it will show groups of that particular user. But if you want to see groups of any other user, you can use groups Tom and groups and the username so that it will show the groups of that particular user, right? So that's about users and groups, like how a user will be created, how a group can be created, where do you get all the group information, how do you append him to a group, how to delete him from a group, how to delete the group. These are all the operations we have seen. But this groups and users makes more sense when you assign the permissions, isn't it? Without permissions, this doesn't make any sense. Why do you need a group? Because this group, let's say I have a team, I need same permissions, we need a group, isn't it? So now let's talk about file permissions, which makes more sense to this users and groups concepts. Shall we proceed and talk about file permissions, or before that, any questions from anyone? Okay, see, I'm a EC2 user. Okay, let's create some file as EC2. You may create it any location. I'm creating under TMP folder. There were some default or some files. It's okay. Let me create some file here. Touch demo.txt, right? I'm also creating a folder. Let's say demo folder or demo directory, right? I have got all of this. How do you see file, I mean, permissions of it, right? Permissions of any file, ls long list minus l, list or long list, ls minus l demo.txt. Right? See here, these are the permissions. We'll discuss this in detail. This is the owner of the file. Owner group, owner's primary group, or else owner's group, you will see here. Not only this demo.txt, let's say I want to check permissions of any random file. Let's say we were seeing something like this file, right? For user information, password file or group file. ls minus l, that file, it will show you that. See, root is the owner because that's a system defined file, right? You can check permissions of any file with this ls minus l long list. Okay, fine. Okay, I have created the file and we can see the permissions here. I'm going back to demo.txt. Okay, this is the file permission. Let's talk about this file permissions. You have to understand this better. To understand this better, let me write this here. How to interpret, how to understand this. What is all of this? Let's see. Right? So this is for demo.txt. Suppose you want to see the permissions of folder also, anything. Demo folder, ls minus l. It's showing as this, 1 second. Okay, let me get this permission. Right? You are seeing permissions for all if you do ls minus l without specifying the name. And right, this is the permissions of the folder which we created, demo folder permissions. Okay, so now let us try to understand this. First, let's come to this file. This is demo.txt. This is demo folder. What is this? See, the first a character, a single character. Let's talk about this when I'm talking about this. The first character defines it is a file. Hyphen indicates it's a file, right? And the second part, this one, RW hyphen. R means read. W means write. Hyphen means no permissions, means read, write, that's all. Actually, there is one more called read, write, execute permissions, but it's not an executable, so it's not having execute permissions. It was just showing us read, write permissions, right? That's the first thing. So whose permissions are this? These are the permissions of, means the first set, this one is the permission of owner of the file. Who is the owner of this file? This file is created by EC2 user. Obviously, EC2 is the owner. Second set also same, read, write permissions, no execute permissions. This is the owner of, sorry, this is the permission of owners group. Owner belongs to EC2 user group. So EC2 user group permissions, right? And this last one is others. Anyone else who is not a owner, who is not in the owners group is other. So others are having only read permissions. Same is the case here. First hyphen indicates, D indicates it's a directory, it's a folder. These are the permissions of owner, owners group, others. Owners permissions. Owner is EC2 user. Owners group is EC2 user group. And this is others. Others means who is not the owner, who is not in the owners group. Right? So now tell me, who is the owner of demo file? ls minus l. You can see here. See, EC2 user is the owner of demo folder. EC2 user is the owner of demo.txt, and this is the group owners group, EC2 user group. Now let me ask you, what would be the permissions of Tom user on this demo.txt? Tom falls under EC2 user owner or owners group or other? He falls into which category?
Other.
Other means he should not have write permissions, only read permissions, as whereas owner has got write permissions, right? So let's suppose I'm the owner. I'm opening this file demo.txt. Let's say I can write anything here and save the file because owner has got write permissions. Let us check as a Tom user. Okay, let us switch to Tom. Before switching to Tom, let me create the password for this Tom user. Sudo password Tom. Password is Tom. I'm repeating the password. Done. So I have set some password. Now let's switch to Tom and see what permissions like he have got. Switch to Tom. How do you switch? su hyphen username. It's prompting for password. Do you see prompt change? I became a Tom user. Permissions would be same. Means permissions would be same in the sense when you see here, you will see the same permissions. Of course, it's under TMP folder. So demo.txt. You will see the same permission. Let us try to edit as a Tom user. File is demo.txt. So I'm editing, Tom user is editing this file. See at the bottom, can you see when I'm trying to escape and put insert mode, changing a read-only file, you can't do it. See if I try to put something here, right? And if I try to save this, see, can't open file for writing because Tom user has no permissions for it. Understand? This makes more sense, right? So you give permissions to this user. Let me come out. We can't save, only quit. We can't save. Quit means just Q exclamatory will help you quit the file. Tom cannot edit this. Suppose I want to give permissions to the Tom. Who can give permissions to this file? Can Tom give permissions, change the permissions of this file?
No.
Who can give permission? Who can change permissions of this file?
Super user.
Either root user or owner of the file can do. Who is the owner of the file?
EC2 demo.
EC2 user.
Hyphen user.
So exit, I came back as EC2 user. Now EC2 user can modify this file permissions because he's the owner. Or else root user. Only these two can modify the file permissions. So this file is having only read permissions for Tom. Let's say I want to give him write permissions. How do you do that? chmod, right? That's a changing permissions or modifying. User means this is owner, or I want to change permissions for others. Tom falls under, right? So O means other. Plus means add permissions. Which permissions? Write permissions. To which file? Demo.txt. That will help you modify the file permissions. Now if you do ls, see, Tom will also get write permission now. Let's see. Switch to Tom. Password is also Tom. Now if he tries to edit, right, it was not giving read only now. Can you see that? He can type something. He can save it, right? Understood now? You already know how to create a group. If a particular group needs permissions, you add the same way. Group means second set. You should change permissions of second set, right? So that's how you can give the permissions. I'm switching back to EC2 user. So how do you change the permissions? Using the command chmod. Suppose for group, I want to add G plus W. Already group is having a write. Let's say I want to give permissions execute. You can even do this. ls. See, group has got execute permissions. File color also change because see, you give executable permissions if it's any script or executable. But anyway, I have added here. If you want to change permissions of user, U plus X. User means owner. See, owner has got execute, group has got execute. Do you see the change here? Is this visible? Following everyone?
Yeah,
And
one quick
if,
question.
tell me, please.
So what does executable permission means for folder?
Not for folder. Executable permissions will give for files. If it's any script, if it's an executable, like if it's some Python script or shell script, you may give executable permissions. How
we
it
can,
is useful, I'll show you when we create shell script files. Tell me.
yeah, but we are also giving we can give the executable permission for the folder level also, right?
But see, if you are giving permissions to a folder, means whatever inside will get the same permission. Generally, we don't give executable for folder. You can give, like I said, whatever inside the folder will get the execute permissions. You are giving permissions to the file means whatever in that directory will get all those permissions recursively. Okay. Demo.txt. So this is how you give the permissions. If you want to remove the permissions, chmod owner, I am removing execute permissions of the owner on this file. Right. So now if you see owner, sorry, O means other, right? Not owner. So anyway, it doesn't have anything here. Let's say I would like to remove from user. Owner means you. Now, yeah, do you see execute permissions were gone? Now for the group also, I would like to delete G minus. See, minus means removing the permissions, plus means adding the permissions. Simple, right? And the first group will be defined with a U, second group with a G, third group with O. That's all you have to remember. Let me write here U. U plus G, U plus X, U plus R, right? This is G plus X or G minus X or G plus W. This is O. Got it, everyone? This is how you modify the permissions, right? There is also another way to give the permissions. There are multiple ways you can do this. Another way is, first let me show you the permissions here, demo.txt. See, here you can see, yeah, read, write, right? Another way is chmod group equal to, right? You put whatever you want. Let's say I want to put only, let's say group has to have only read permissions. Hyphen. This is another way to give the permissions. I'm giving only read permissions for the group. Let's say for others also, I would like to give only read. O equal to means whatever permission you want it to have, just put that O equal to. This is another way. Following everyone? Understood the second way of giving permission, which is very simple, right? But you have to remember this. O means other, owner means defined with U, group means G. Can I get a confirmation? Is this clear for all of you?
Yes.
Actually, this
Yes,
all comes under user management, file permissions, and all. These are all Linux admin part. You don't need to get in-depth knowledge on it, but the basic idea you should have, because when we create some files, when you get some file permission issues, you should get some understanding to work on it. So this will help you. This is the second method. There is another method, the third method, which is more widely used method called numeric mode, right? The numeric mode of doing the things. You have a file in the drive. Let me show you. See, this is the folder you have got access to, right? Some of you are asking for this folder as well. So this is the one. Here you have got Linux basics. And here if you go to the Linux basic commands document, see here it is. Some of you are asking, right? Where is the document? Here it is. The folder Linux basics. This is the document with all the commands we were using here. Okay.
And the
See
recording sections in which folder it is placed.
Vim command, how to use it, even everything was there. How to create the users, right? All of that we were doing here. How to delete the group DOM from the group. Everything was there. File permissions. We have seen two methods. This is the chart which will help you for the third method. Before I begin, yes, some of you are asking something. Please go ahead.
Daily recording sessions in which folder it is placing.
It is in the YouTube. The playlist is shared in the WhatsApp group, the playlist link. If you don't see the link, remind me at the end of the class, I'll show you. The group or the playlist group is defined or mentioned in the WhatsApp description as well. Okay, so this is the numeric mode. Okay, see here, no permissions means 0. Execute, only execute permissions means 1. Write, only write means 2. Only read means 4. Accordingly, you will give these values. Do you see here? Only X means 1. W means 2. W plus X means 2 plus 1, 3. Read means 4. Read plus execute. Read is 4, execute is 1, 5. Read plus write. Read is 4, write is 2, 6. Read plus write plus execute means 7. So you can use this chart to give the permissions. Let's suppose for the owner, I want to give all permissions. All means read plus write plus execute means 7. Chmod. First digit is for owner. Second one, I just want to leave it as read. Read means only read means 4, right? This is another way, numeric way. This is more widely used than any other method. See, first one 7. So read write X. Earlier it doesn't have execute, but because I gave 7. Or else I just want to put only read for everyone. Or else owner should have read, no one else should have any permissions. 0, 0. Now ls demo, owner also will have only read permission. Do you see that? Owner should have, let's say, read write 6, isn't it? 6 means read write. First digit is for owner, second digit is for group, third digit is for others. So he has got read write. This is called numeric method, which is more widely used method. Any questions?
So, madam, in real time, so Linux is mostly used as a DevOps engineers ourselves. Like mostly Linux we will use. What are the tasks we normally use?
We don't use Linux as a separate task or as a Linux person. As you work on Linux systems, these are the basics one should know. There will be not a task like give permissions to this user. That's very less. That's actually Linux admin task. But yeah, you may be giving permission, but that won't be the major task for a DevOps person. But because you work on Linux systems, you need to get some understanding on it. You don't have task specific to Linux. Maybe some projects may be there. In general, that's not the core task of a DevOps person.
Mhm. So just this is like add-on to our roles and responsibility. It will helpful to understand what are the files are.
This is not a role and responsibility of DevOps person. That's what I'm saying. The giving permissions to user, creating user, that's not a role of a DevOps. Means not a role in this. That is not the major or the core role of a DevOps person. DevOps person main roles and responsibilities lies with managing the infrastructure, CI/CD pipeline, managing on automating the end-to-end scenarios. But in this process of automation, there might be a need where you may have to create a user to install your packages. You may have to change the permissions of the file in this process. So that's why we are learning. This is not the main responsibility of DevOps person, but as you execute your responsibilities, you may have to go through them.
Okay, thank you so much.
So yeah, that's how you change the file permissions. What if you want to change the permissions of the means you want to change the user? Let's suppose I want to change the owner or change the group, right? How do you do that? Let's see. So to change the owner of the file, sudo chown, right? I want to change the ownership of this demo.txt to Tom. I want to make Tom as a owner and the group as admin. So admin. Okay, Tom colon admin. Tom will be the owner, admin will be the group owner of this file now. Let's see. Earlier it's easy to use, right? Now, yeah. Do you see? Tom is the owner, admin is the group owner of the file. Right? Clear? See, I have changed both. I have changed the owner as well as the group ownership. Let's say I want to change only the owner. Okay, you can also do that. Just you don't give the second part, only the first part. Let's say I want to make easy to user as owner again. Right now, see easy to user, but the owners group is admin group. Right? If you want to change only the group, that is also possible, but with the command ch group, change group to, let's say I want to change the group back to easy to user. Change group, it's back. Do you see that? Right? That's about the file permissions and understanding user creation file permission. Because like I said, in our process of executing our task, we may come across them at times. It's not mandatory you will be coming across. It may be needed. These are the basics one should know. See, you are working on Windows machine means you should know as which user you have logged in. And sometimes it will ask you to run as an admin user, isn't it? So basic things one should know when you're working on this environment, right? So as we got some understanding on user management, file permissions, let's look into few operators which we'll be using Can I proceed or any more questions before we go on? Good to go? All right. So, 1 second. Yeah. Let us talk about few parameters which are important, like which we'll be using as we go by. If you want to list any files, let's say I want to list something in USR bin. See, there were so many files and folders present in this USR bin. If you want to see them um, like page in a page, right? You can pass this to pipe. This is a pipe operator. Pipe operator will connect the two commands. If you want to see the contents page by page, not all of them in one go, see, you can give enter or you can give the page down to see the next set of like next page data and so on, right? Rather than seeing all of them like in one go, this is how you can see, right? If you want, you can quit. That is one thing you have. Less pipe, less command will help you see the few pages. Let me do it again. And escape will help you see the next page. Okay, quit worked. All right. Right, escape space is giving you page, each page. Do you see that? You want to see the content page by page. Escape space, right? Just to see the content better. Actually, here I want to show the importance of pipe operator. Pipe, this one will help you connect two commands. Okay, let me show you etc password. Another example. It was showing, let's suppose I want to see, actually this is only one page, so you don't see much here. Let me pass it to pipe. See, escape space. It will show you this. Right, just another command, or else let me show you much simple thing. History command will show you the list of all the commands you have executed till now, right? See, so many are there. Let's suppose I want to see content page by page. Let's pipe it to less. History command output will be given as input to less command. Escape space will take you page by page, and it's done, right? That is one thing. Or else, there is one more thing, like, okay, history command, pipe, pipe operator is connecting output of this history. I would like to search something from thing. There comes something called grep. Grep means global regular expression. It will search it and it will print for us. This will help us many times to search the logs and so on. So I would like to search everything related to sudo. Like wherever I have used to sudo, I want to grep all of them. See, like a filter, right? And also after grepping, I would like to save them. How do you do that? Redirection arrows. Let's say single arrow. First, I'll use single arrow. Redirector operator. That's called redirector operator. I would like to store it into history.txt. So a file will be created. See, history.txt. If you see that, yes, you have all of that. All right, fine. Then I would like to grab everything related to less command. And also I would like to store them. Is there nothing related to less? Okay. Like let's say I would like to search with Tom. Why it was not shown? Oh, sorry, it was saving into this file, right? Uh, Actually, it was showing and saving into the file, so it doesn't print. Let me check now. It has got everything related to Tom, correct? But there is nothing related to less command. Why? See, the last command will overwrite. This redirect operator will overwrite the content, existing content. Meaning, let's suppose I would like to grep with less. Actually, these are the commands. I would like to place into history. Now, if you see this file, see it has got only less. Where is Tom commands? They were overwritten, right? Means this operator, single redirection operator, will override the existing content. But I don't want to override, rather I would like to append. What you can do, already less commands were there. Let's say I would, okay, first let me show you, then we'll put them. Let's say I would like to have the strong commands also into the file. It should not override, it should append. In that case, use double arrows. Now, if you see this, it should have both. See, less commands were there, strong commands were also there. Got it? At times when you're searching something, if you want to grep and if you want to save it, this is how you can use. Am I clear? There were so many operators in Linux. As we go by, see, Linux will not be completed. We will be using it throughout the course. So as and when we have a requirement, we'll be talking about new commands and we'll explore many other things, right? So that's about file management, few operators, and also we need to know installing the packages, right? Let's talk about package management now. Meaning, let's say I want to install some package like Git. See, when I run Git, it says command not for. How do you install a package? How do you install a software in Linux? We have seen installing Git on Windows, right? So how to do that in Linux? See, on Linux, if you want to install or uninstall or manage the packages, there'll be something called package managers in Linux. This package manager will help you install or uninstall and manage the packages. And also, depending on different Linux distributions, you have different package managers. Mohan is having question. He says how to remember all these commands. Mohan, practice, that's all. You don't need to try to master this Linux all in one go. Let's say today we have discussed many commands. You don't try to master all of them by the end of today. That will not work because Linux, it will take time. You try to understand here, watch the recording, practice it, but you may not be expertising all of them in one go. How you should plan is spend 10 minutes daily for Linux. 10 minutes enough. Every day, go through few new commands. Let's say there were 100 commands. Day 1, start with first 10 commands. Day 2, start with first 10 plus 5. So 15. Day 3, again those 15 plus another 5. That's how you keep on learning every day 10 minutes with whatever commands we have learned. You will get hands-on and confidence on it. That's how you should learn Linux. Right? All right, we'll talk more about on that at the end. So package manager is something which will help you manage the packages depending on different Linux distributions. If it is CentOS Red Hat, you have M package manager. If it is a Debian systems, you may get apt-get and so on. Different package managers. Why do you need a package manager? Why can't you install like in Windows, download from URL and all? See, installation in Linux happens in a different way. Whenever you install a package, all the binaries get installed in some path, all the libraries in some path. Means in short, I can say your package would be split and it would be installed in different paths. That's how installation works. Similarly, when you install also, you should do the same. So it would be very difficult to install manually and handle all of this, right? So there comes package managers, which can help you manage everything. Okay, so to install any package, how do you do that? Let's suppose I want to install a, let's say an Nginx package. You can do minstall or else any package. HTTPD, let me go with HTTPD. HTTPD is nothing but a web server. If you don't know HTTPD, that's fine. That's a HTTP web server where you can host some static web pages. Okay, we'll see a demo on it. So yum install HTTPD, that's all. It will download the package and install it. But from where it will download? Isn't it? There will be something called repositories, M repositories. It would be under default hcm.repos.d. See, this is the directory where you have this kind of repository files created by default. Right? These are the URLs from where the packages will be downloaded. Some packages will not be available from those URLs. You can even create these repository files from where you should download. We'll also see that as we go by. Okay, just understand it will be downloaded from yum repositories. Yum repositories will be already configured in the location I have shown you this one from where it will download. You can even configure your yum repositories. We'll see that later. So I would like to install HTTPD. It says you need to be a root user, isn't it? Regular users can't do this. You may switch to root user also. Let me switch to root. Sudo su hyphen will help you switch. Install HTTP. Confirm. It's asking for confirmation. Yes, for confirmation. Package is installed. Right now, if you run HTTPD, it will not say command not found. It can give you somewhere post. But package is installed. Is it started or running? How do you know? Systemctl status service name. See, it is installed, but it's not running. It's not active. It's inactive. So you have to start it with the command start. It could not start it. This problem is there from long back. You will need to restart your system. So just ignore this one. But this is installed. Okay, if you have to restart this virtual machine so that it will work. You have to restart this. But let it be. Okay, I just want to show you something. Whenever you install a package, it might be like this might be running on some port. Okay, if you want to see the port, netstat, this is some networking command. You can just remember it. LNTUP. Okay, here you should see some port. As this is not running, let's leave it. Let me install some other package. Let me install Tomcat. Shall we install Tomcat? What is Tomcat?
Web server.
It is a application server where you can host some Java pages, Java servlet pages, etc. I'm installing this. Okay, if you want to see where it is installed, you may use where is, that's a command, where is Tomcat. See, it shows you it's in the USR share Tomcat. This is what we need. See, you are in this USR share Tomcat. Web apps directory is where you have to host your var files. Before we talk about it, let's do one thing. Let's do conf. Okay, see this Tomcat default port is 8080. All the default port configurations will be present in this server.xml. You don't need to know this, just some understanding, that's all. Here, if you scroll down, you will see Tomcat port is 8080, right? That's where port is configured. If you want to change it, let's say you want to run on some other port, you can change it, but let it be. I just want to show you those default configurations. And is it running? Check the status. Systemctl status Tomcat. It's not running, it's inactive. How do you start? Start Tomcat. Let's see the status now. Do you see that it was running? And every process, like every service will be running on process ID, like 4533. Right? That will help you check where it is running. Netstat command will help you see the port. Minus LNTUP will show you all the ports, but I just want to see with this process ID. So pipe grep, this is where process ID or like pipe grep can be used. Only this one. See, it was showing you that it's on 8080, right? You can check on that port, but before that, let us deploy something here. How do you deploy means, see, in the web apps directory, you should put the Java code. Java code should be placed in the var format. This is all related to development. They'll write the code, they'll create a var file. We will talk about how to create it later. That is developer task. You don't need to do it, but some idea, you can have some idea on it. There's no coding here, just the var file. How do you get var file? Means web archive file. I'll get some sample var file downloaded, sample var file, just for our hands-on. Why it went there? Sample var file download. Okay. See, some sample var file for testing. See, the example app has been packaged as a var file and can be downloaded here. Copy this link address. How do you download any file from any URL? wget command. wget that URL. So, see, it is downloaded. It should be in the web apps directory. That's how Tomcat works. So it should be extracted as well. That's a var file is like a zip file. Okay, it should be extracted. For that, restart Tomcat. Restart Tomcat. Now, if you do LSC, it got extracted into a folder. And it is running on which port? 8080. So how do you access it? This is my virtual machine. Public IP to connect from the browser or from PuTTY from outside, you should use public IP. Colon 8080 and the endpoint should be sample. But for this to work, you should go to security. There will be inbound and outbound rules. Inbound rules means it is allowing traffic only on port 2020. That's why you are able to SH. I would like to hit that on port 8080 also. So to open the port, go to the inbound rules of your EC2 instance. Edit the inbound rules. You have to add this port. Add the rule, custom TCP port 8080, and you can connect from anywhere. Save the rule. Once this rule is added, refresh it and see. That's a sample application, right? Means the developers will write the code, they will create the var file, they will give you the var file. You should know where to deploy, where to place the var file. Tomcat is like Tomcat, Web, HTTPD. These are general services which everyone should have some idea on. Right? For Tomcat, you should put that var file in web apps directory. So when you put it in web apps directory, your application can be deployed on the application server this way. Am I making sense? Understood, everyone?
Like how to extract this file? Like there is a
You
var
don't
file.
need to extract it. You have to restart Tomcat. It will extract it when you put it in the web apps directory.
Okay, but if in web apps there are multiple var file and if we need to like
Where
extract
is multiple var file?
no in web apps there will be multiple folder you mentioned like in web apps we can deploy the multiple
You
projects,
can
right?
start multiple paths. You can configure multiple paths in the server.xml conf files, and you can do that. That's how Tomcat works. Here I am showing you just like a simple way of just to install a package and simple understanding on Tomcat. Yes, now those all can be configured in this conf files to different paths in the web apps itself, different subdirectories.
Hi, Preeti.
Yes, hi.
For this application, you kept the port number as 8080.
8080 is the default port. We did not keep it. Tomcat runs on 8080.
Okay.
That default port is
Can
configured.
multiple applications use the same port?
They can use the same port, different paths. Suppose sample var file is in sample directory, right here. You may create subdirectories here, right? Like sample endpoint, you will see sample. Let's suppose there is sample 2. Another folder will be there as sample 2. Then here the endpoint, same port, but it would be sample 2, that folder name. Understood?
Yes.
Tomcat is running on the same port, different paths. How to handle multiple var files, all of that configurations can be handled with subdirectories or configuring the paths here. All of that can be done.
How can we find these ports in Windows?
In Windows, when you install Tomcat, you will also get this configuration files, default configuration files. Tomcat's default port is 8080. There will be again some files created there. You can modify if you want to change the port. Let's suppose I want to change the port. You can, let me show you. And let's come back. Go to conf. Here is the port number configured as 8080. Let's suppose I just want to make it 81. Okay, save it. Actually, you should stop Tomcat, do this and restart it. Anyway, I have changed it. Restart Tomcat. Now check the status of Tomcat. Systems, it should be running first. Status. Typo. Systemctl. Okay, it was running process ID change. Do you see that? So netstat -lntup pipe grep this process ID, which is 8781. And see, it was on 8081. Meaning, if you hit this, it should not work. Right? It's gone. But it should be working on 81. But that 81 should be added in the ports of the inbound rules. So go to the inbound rule, add the port 8081, allow the traffic from anywhere, save it. Means that's like firewall. The security rules are like firewalls. Now it's there on 8081. That's how you can change the port. Clear? Is that clear? Any questions? Appreciate your quick responses. If something was not clear, you can ask which is not clear.
Ma'am, so same way we can install anything like we wanted to install Git from here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
anything the same way. Like we installed all these packages. You want to install Git. We have seen installing Git on Linux, right?
Yeah.
So install Git. We have done it on Windows. Now it's on Linux. It's just single command that should install Git. Git is installed. Now, if you run Git, yes, lot of verbose means Git is installed. If you want to see version, see, installation is different. Once you install, commands are same. Let's suppose I want to version control some directory. Let's say I'll create a directory called Git demo. Go there. What I should do, I want to make my repository here, my code here. What is the command? Git
In
init.
it.
Git is.
Init, yeah. If you see hidden files, yes, .git means this git demo is my local repository. This git demo is my working repository. Everything else is same, right? Commands are same. I'm creating some file here. So if you see status, everything, command concepts are same. See, untracked file. What you should do?
Git add.
We add
That's
first.
all. That's all. If you know Git, it is same. Either it is on Windows or Linux, anything is same. Again, see the status, commands remain same. So changes to be committed, you commit, push, and so on. Right? That's how you install any packages. If you want to uninstall, remove. Yeah. Remove. I want to remove Git. It might be having some specific package version, right? I can say dot star. It should remove all the Git packages. But still it is showing, has it deleted? Let me remove dot, let me give star, right? I want to remove anything that starts with git. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's gone. So that's how you can install or uninstall any packages using M Package Manager. And in this process, I have shown you installing Tomcat. HTTPD also install, but like I said, it needs a restart. Otherwise, I would have shown you this also. Status HTTPD. It's saying fail. Let me restart again. Restart. See, it is not restarting. Let me start the server once. We can also do some deployment over there, right? So just let me quickly start this. I mean, restart this. You may reboot or else I'll stop and start. So HTTPD is like a web server. Of course, it can work like a proxy, load balancer, and so on. Yeah, that's it works like a basic web server, and the default port is 80. You can deploy some static web pages like HTTPD or any PHP pages and so on. As we go by, we will be using these as an example at times. So better you have some understanding on this Tomcat, HTTPD and all. Let me start that. Okay, it's coming up. See, whenever you start your instance, your public IP may change. That is expected behavior. That's how it works. But private IP would be fixed and stable. And public IP is for connecting from outside AWS. Means let's say this is the browser I want to connect from here. It's outside AWS, so public IP. Similarly, from PuTTY you want to connect. That's outside AWS, right? From your Windows machine. That's where you should use public IP. See, it got changed. Earlier, this was the public IP. But private IP is same. Private IP is for communication within the same network. Like in the same AWS, if you want to connect, we'll use private. But otherwise, public. So let's connect back. Okay, this is the instance. Let me switch to root. Let's try to see the status of HTTPD. Status HTTPD. Let me start it. Yeah, right? Do you see after restart? It needs restart, that's all. So it was running, but where is it running? Which port? Let's say you don't know the port. It's not that we know all the services, right? You may not know all the services, but get the process ID. This is how you can check on which port it is running. LNTUP pipe grep this process ID. Right? See, it's on 80, port 80. So there will be a default page or test page deployed here. You may hit that on port 80 to see the test page. But this port should be opened in the inbound rules, right? Security rules, security group. So go to the security group, edit the inbound rules, allow the HTTP. HTTP port is like this is the one, default is 80. So connect from anywhere, save it. Yes, this is the test page, right? Means your web server, HTTPD web server is running. Suppose you want to deploy your own static web pages, your own website. See, you may add the content to this directory, like you have web apps directory for Tomcat. This is the directory for HTTPD. These are very basic general concepts which anyone in IT should know. It's not developer or tester or DevOps. Everyone should have idea of this web server, application server, some understanding. This is the default location. Here you are not seeing anything. Let me create some HTML file. Okay, this is some header. Don't worry about it. This is just a small header. Developers will create this websites and all, right? I'm just creating a sample page. Now this page should be seen here. See? Okay. This path is called document root location. Let me tell you, these are few general services. HTTPD runs on port 80. And this is the document root location. Means if you want to deploy anything, you should place it here. Tomcat default port is 8080. I have already shown you how to check the port. I mean, which port it is running with the process ID and netstat command. And also I have shown you how to change the ports, right? And for Tomcat, it would be web apps directory. Tomcat web apps. That's where you have to put the code you want to deploy. It's not actually the code, it is a var file created from the code, whatever it is. Got an idea of these services? The port number, the document root location. Here you may put some HTML pages or PHP, some static pages. In Tomcat, it would be the Java archive file. Like it might be in different formats, archive, var file or jar file or EAR file, depending on the coding, they'll create this artifact and share the artifact. You have to put it in the web apps directory for the application to run. Right? Interesting, isn't it? Similarly, we change the port of Tomcat. You can also change the port of this, and this port would be somewhere like under etc. It would be HTTPD conf. There will be a file called HTTPD.conf. See, this is the default file which is created by default when you install HTTPD, and see it says it's listening on port 80. Let's change it to 81. Okay, restart this. Restart HTTPD. Check the status of HTTPD, get the process ID, confirm the port is running on 51999. So netstat 5199. See, it is running on, see, 5199 HTTP process running on port 81. So this should not be working now because we changed the port, but it should be working on port 81. But it just keep on loading this way. What should we do?
We need to add the port in
We
firewall.
need to
Gateway.
open this port in the security group of the EC2 instance. It's like a firewall. You should open this port. Add the rule, custom TCP, or what else is there? HTTP is 80, so we should add custom TCP, port 81. You want to allow anyone can access this URL, means everywhere. So on port 81, see, you also can access this. Let me share you that in the Zoom chat. Can all of you try hitting this URL? I have shared it. Hit both of them and let me know. Can you access both the URLs, both the endpoints? Yes or no?
Yes.
The first one.
Both the web pages are opening for you?
The second one.
Yes.
Second one is,
not able.
yeah,
Which one? This one?
second one.
Only first one is accessible.
This one?
Not accessible.
It should be. Try again. I think I have removed this. 1 second. Give me a okay, fine. That is, I removed it. 1 minute. Let me check systemctl status Tomcat. Okay, it is not running. 1 second. Let me check on which port it is. 6268. 6268. 8000. 8081. Now check. You should be accessing it. USR share. I think I removed it. Did I remove? No. Let me check web apps. It should be working now. Somehow it's not loading for me as well. 8081.
That public address it is changed.
Oh yeah, correct. Got it. Yeah, we restarted the instance, right? So after that, we should also start Tomcat and we should check it on a new IP address, isn't it? That's the problem. Yes. Now let me give this new endpoint. Can you all try out this one now?
Yes, it is coming.
Right,
Okay.
both endpoints you are accessing. But let's say I don't want to share it with everyone. I want to test, right? Is it a best practice to share it with everyone? Maybe it may not be the endpoint, right? So how to restrict that? Security best practice is, this is the best practice. Whatever we have done is not best. Now I'm showing you the best practice. What you have to do is, here what I'm saying, source. Source means from where you want them to connect. I have given here anywhere. 00 means anywhere. That's why you are all able to connect. Of course, 80 we don't have it. I removed it on, I place it on 81. Also 80 I don't have it. Don't add unnecessary ports which you don't want to open. My Tomcat is on 8081. This is here, so only those two. And of course, as such, connection 22 port. Now only these two are enough. But again, 81. Anyone is accessing it because I have added source as all. What I should do, I don't want all. Maybe from my IP, I want access. This is my laptop. Can you check now? The second URL you will not access. I can access it because I have given only from my Windows IP. Hit this one now. It should not work for you. Test it and confirm.
Yeah, it is not working.
It will not. This is the best practice. Means, of course, if the endpoints are to be shared to end users, we may give that option. But certain things, maybe I have to test. I don't want to make it available for everyone. So this is how you can restrict. This is the best practice. Got it? Or else you can put the IPs who should access, whose IPs. You may configure the IP address, who should access and all. Got it? So whereas this one you can still access because I have made here anyone.
How
Ma'am,
do
one
we
doubt.
need to select the drop down here, type information, whether it is
This one.
SSH or custom TCP?
TCP means whichever is on the browser is generally TCP. TCP protocol which you access from the browser. HTTP means the 80, port 80. Those are the default things, general things which you should get some idea. As we go by, you will see. This is all the, whichever you access on browser will be under TCP. It's a custom TCP and you put the port number. HTTP means it will come by default. These are the general protocols. 80. SSH, it comes by default 22. Those are the default ports. You don't need to go all of this. Those are all different protocols. You don't need all of them. Tell me, please.
Yeah, how we can add a group or a set of group of IPs into the list?
You can add. You can add. For now, you restrict whoever access. It's not that you give everyone. Got it,
So
everyone?
to add multiple IPs, we have to add another role, or whether we can include in the same.
Custom, and you can add the different IP ranges, IP address. You can add.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have access to web server. You only have access to Tomcat, right? So that's a best practice. So EC2 instance was created. We have learned about Linux, the basic commands, user management, package management, file permissions, installing packages, changing the ports, checking the ports, starting the service of HTTPD and Tomcat, right? Do hands-on on this. You do exactly whatever we have done, like install Tomcat, install HTTPD, do these deployments manually. As we go by, we are going to automate all these configurations with a Terraform and so many other things. So get good idea on it. So definitely do the hands-on. Don't think that these are basics, we don't need to go over them. Definitely go through them, do the hands-on. A quick, if you already know a quick hands-on, if you're already into it, you can just do it in 2 minutes, right? So go through it definitely, get some clean understanding on this. We will be going to advanced configurations and all as we progress. For those to understand better, you need to have proper understanding on these concepts.
When we are going to root user, why it's not asking any password?
In EC, these are all instances on cloud, right? Cloud instances doesn't have root password for security reasons. It doesn't have root password. That's how cloud instances were
So
configured.
any user who don't have access also, they can go to root user, right?
Anyone?
Any any normal user who don't have execute permissions or any other permission, they also go to root user and they can execute, right?
But that we will restrict all of that. As this is our lab, we are not, you can restrict that so that other users will not switch to root. You can set some password to root and will not share it with others. We can set the password. By default, it's not there. But whenever you create instance, whenever you give access to others, you will set some password to root and it will not be shared with everyone. Like you may have Tom user or like 5 members, everyone will be created with some user ID and they'll be shared with it. Similarly, root user will be created with some password, which will have it with only with admin of the server.
After Linux machine configuration in AWS, the commands will work by default, or for that also we need to install any packages.
Which one? Which?
Cat command, like
They will work. They will work.
okay.
Those are default Linux commands. Any
Preeti,
other questions?
question. I'm not sure whether this is relevant here, but I just want to know the concepts of environment variable, because in the pipeline also I have heard people saying environment variable. So whether those environment variable is same as what we have.
Those environment variable is different from the environment variables of Linux. We'll use both of them. See, we are learning Linux means it's not that we are covering entire Linux here. Like I already said, right? As we progress, we'll be using many other Linux commands, other concepts as well, like SH concept is there. We have to learn that. There were many things. As we go by, we'll discuss. Means when the context comes in, we shall talk about them. Right? As we go by, we are having scenarios which needs those environment variables. We'll talk about them at that point. Rather than just learning as a topic is there, you should learn it. We will learn it when the context comes in so that you will see the real purpose of them. Okay. And
Yeah.
yes, Dinesh, tell me difference between difference of user mod -a and -ag. See, -a means minus a minus g, Dinesh. It's not -a, -g and -ag. Correct? It's not -a. Hmm. Hmm. Let me check if I have those comments. 1 second. This one and this one, right? -g means Tom user will be deleted from his group and he will be added to DevOps group. Means user mod will modify this user to be added into a new group and he will be deleted from his existing group. Whereas AG means it will not delete Tom from his existing group. Rather, he will be appended to one more group called admin group. -g will remove him from the existing group and add him to a new group. -ag means, remember, like A means append and add him to the new group. You have these commands, everything in the drive. You can also try executing from your end. So tomorrow we shall go through some shell scripting, and then we shall talk about SSH, or else I believe SSH will discuss when the context comes in Jenkins. We'll use SSH concept to add Jenkins slaves, right? We shall discuss then that there. Tomorrow we shall go through that some shell scripting, and let's see. We shall take up Jenkins theoretical part as well tomorrow, so that we shall start Jenkins installation hands-on on the next day. We'll be using Linux throughout till the end. Similarly, Git will be used throughout, right? Rather than as a topic, completing the topic and going ahead, we shall discuss end to end. Okay, wherever like we have the context, we have scenarios where we'll be using this shell scripting in the pipeline also, so that you will see where you will use this shell scripting. All of that we'll see. So that is all from my end for today. Anything else from your end? Anyone else? Any questions? Were you completing the quiz? I could see few responses. I'm receiving responses, few responses quick. Some people are submitting them, but make sure you are doing it regularly every day. That will help you a lot.
Okay.
Also get started marketing your resume. If you need any help for resume, you can connect with our team, right? Get your resumes ready. It's not that you learn it completely, then start marketing yourself. You can start parallelly, so that even though you can't make it through the interview, you'll get an idea. You'll understand the job description. You will get an idea how questions would be, and also get start preparing your resume, start marketing yourself. Don't wait till the course is completed. You can take it up parallel. You can reach us for all of that. All right, then. Thank you all. That's all from my end. See you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.